I think if I hear you call me Becky one more time, six-pack, I'm gonna pop your tops. All six of them.
Who are you?
Hey, this is Matt once again. We're about to another review. This is another paid request, this time from Jimmy. Thank you so much for that. For those interested in requesting pretty much any type of videos or topics or reactions, reviews, re-reviews, randomness, whatever they may be, feel free to send them either directly to my PayPal or join my Patreon. Both links are down below in the info box. It could be for pretty much anything. I'll try to get to it as soon as I can. And this is for the 1991 film Hook. Now, Hook is a film that I don't hate, but I never could get into enough to love. It's one of those I always thought was kind of okay. And as I watch it, I'm watching it and I'm going, what is it about this film I don't love? Because it's got a great talent involved. You got Steven Spielberg. This is after doing Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade. You got Robin Williams, who is greatly missed. You got Dustin Hoffman as Captain Cook. You got Julia Roberts. You got Bob Hoskins. You have John Williams doing the score. You have very solid, top-notch production design. And going back to John Williams, he did a great job with the score. He gave it that sense of magic and that really elevated the material. The idea is enticing because, okay, you don't do a Peter Pan film, but you're not doing the same story. You're doing a different story. You're doing like a sequel story. What if Peter Pan had grown up? What if you had an adult Peter Pan? Interesting ideas. So it's not just the same old carbon copy remake like you would see now with Mulan, then Mulan, and Beauty and the Beast, then the new Beauty and the Beast. This tried to be its own original path. And the performances are pretty damn decent. I think what it is, number one, this film is 2 hours and 20 minutes long, and the pacing suffers. It takes an hour and 40 minutes before he is Peter Pan. I understand the story, the idea that this is a guy who's grown up. He's not about kiddie stuff anymore. He's about the corporate game, the other version of piracy, but trying to look after his family, but in kid stuff is buried deep down. He's forgotten who he is, as he now has a wife and 2 kids, and he's just more obsessed with his job, which that's a typical trope that it's so fucking tiring. The father who's working too much and not paying attention to his kids. It's like, can it be something more unique or more interesting than just that typical fucking trope? But to me, then they overdo it so much, where Robin Williams' character of Peter Banning is so unlikable. He's such a sourpuss. He's such grumpy for so long. And then others, he's just aloof or he's just confused. Okay, if you're doing that and it goes for 40 minutes, that seems about the right time. An hour, you're pushing it. But over an hour and a half? Again, it's not till the hour and 40-minute mark where he becomes Peter Pan. That's like if you're watching Jurassic Park and the scene where they see the dinosaurs, like Alan Grant and them are shown, welcome to Jurassic Park. Imagine if that was at the hour and 40-minute mark. I mean, imagine if the Ark of the Covenant, Raiders of the Lost Ark, was shown at the hour and 40-minute mark. It's just like, it's just too late. And when Robin Williams finally gets the shackles off of him, just when he's playing this character, on one end, Robin Williams is a good actor. He just do something a bit different and not the norm and performance-wise, but he's not a likable character, and he's not supposed to be at the beginning. I understand that. But that unlikability goes on for so long. Even Cadillac Man, a character where he's cheating on his wife with a bunch of women, becomes a more likable character than Peter fucking Pan. Because, I mean, it's just they overdo it so much. Because they do this, and then this, and then this, and then this, and then this. So, okay, he doesn't get to his son's baseball game, and he broke his promise, as the last game of the season. Okay, that sets it up. Alright, they're on a plane trip, going to overseas. He snaps at his kid. And the kid is actually played by Charlie Korsmo, who was in... He was the kid in What About Bob? He was the kid in Dick Tracy. He would later be in a film called Can't Hardly Wait. He's a good kid actor. But he snaps at him on the plane. Why you stop being a kid? I am a kid. Okay, he snapped at him. Alright. But then he's on the phone and he yells at both of his kids, including the little girl. I go, alright, you're pushing it. Then he yells at his boy again. Don't be near the window. Okay, but what did I tell you? I'm like, Jesus Christ, like, you're really overdosing on this. And then, you know, being afraid of heights and he can't reach his kid. I'm like, okay, I get that you're afraid of heights, but you're a father, you would still want to... But I get it. They're doing that where there's a point where Hook, he took the kids, they've gone to Neverland. He has gone there as well, thanks to Tinkerbell, played by Julia Roberts. Hook has the kids in this net high above. Hey, you fly up and touch them, you can bring your kids home. But it's to showcase that this guy doesn't remember who he is. He's forgotten who he is as Peter Pan. So that's the way that even with his kids in jeopardy, he can't touch them. Like, he can't reach out to them. I understand that, but it's just like, it's this and this and this and this. It's like, it gets too much. It gets to be too much, too long, and the pacing suffers. Especially when you get in the middle portion where I don't give a fuck about Hook turning this boy into mini Hook. I don't let this kid make him think that I'm his dad. I don't really find that interesting, or as interesting as the writers and such felt it. Maybe it worked for other people. For me, I'm like, I don't care. It just, this is a film that 30 minutes could be taken off of it. And you know what? Actually would be for the better. Like, okay, with Robin Williams and his character, have him miss the baseball game, then have him be on the phone, he snaps, he yells at the two kids, and then when he does his meeting where he's doing the seminar, maybe there's a moment of reflection that, you know, I should not have done that. And then, but then he takes a phone call. Well, he's out of it at first. The phone rings. But then he takes a phone call. And then, okay, now we've established it. We don't need all the other shit. We don't need him snapping at the kid on the plane. We don't need him snapping at the kid when he's right by the fucking window. It just gets to be too much. And at times it has a weird tone where Sometimes it feels like a Nickelodeon movie where they're defeating the bad guys with marbles and food hitting people in the face. But at the same time, these pirates are ready to kill these kids. And Hook, kills Rufio. As like the guy is slamming the sword at this one kid, ready to chop his fucking head off. And I'm like, there's some weird tone I'm seeing here. I don't know what it is, um, but yeah, the production values are very solid, especially in Neverland. A lot of practical stuff there, with the way the Lost Boys area is set up and how they have all of this stuff where there's parts that are in the snow, there's parts with a basketball hoop, there's this part with a skateboarding ramp, how all this stuff is connected with each other. Same with Hook's, his area, his environment. The finale of the film where you have a ton of extras, adults and kids battling each other, and you did Robin Williams with a sword, makes you remind you of the old swashbuckling days. John Williams' score is essential. When Robin Williams finally, like I said, because up until then, he's kind of shackled humor-wise. Very few times does he really is he allowed for his humor to come out. Whether it be the scene where they have the food and he's doing this insult back and forth with Rufio, the character played by Dante Basco, I believe is his name. Which I've seen him in other stuff too. He was in The Perfect Weapon with Jeff Speakman. He was in Blood and Bone with Michael Jai White. And I like Dante Basco. I thought he worked well as Rufio and what kind of character he's supposed to be. And when they're insulting each other, Robin Williams is becoming more and more familiar and more comfortable and throwing out the insults and being creative with it. I'm like, okay, this is where Robin Williams gets to shine. But there's not a lot of moments he gets to shine comedic-wise compared to the multitude of Robin Williams films, if I can talk. Whether it be The Birdcage, whether it be Good Morning Vietnam, whether it be Club Paradise even, which is my personal favorite Robin Williams film. And you would think with Peter Pan, that kind of story, Steven Spielberg, Toys that came out the year after, which got nothing at the box office. At least this made a bit of money at the box office. Although I know even Steven Spielberg himself doesn't like the film. And I'm like, well, this is not the worst Spielberg film. I would put this over Ready Player One. I would put this over The Lost World, Jurassic Park 2. Yeah, I would put this over those because performance-wise, I'll just say Robin. For some reason, I cannot say his last name. I don't know. I did not watch Robin's films for a while because when his death happened, it hit me and it hit me hard. Which I know is weird because I don't know the guy. As in, I never met him personally. I never talked with him. I never communicated with him. So, essentially, he's a stranger. This is a guy that never knew I or you or others existed. But, growing up with his work in Aladdin, yes, in films like Club Paradise, which is a film I grew up with and quite enjoy. Other films. Seeing his interviews where we go off the cuff and have these imaginative ad-libs where he'll tell this story after story after story. Go watch Inside the Actor Studio with Robin. Go watch interviews with Robin. And he could just take something and riff and you don't know where he's going. This whirlwind of comedic talent and emotions and very creative. Just pulsing and just brightly lit, shining beacon of emotional, comedic energy. And for that to be gone was just a real sucker punch. Real sucker punch. And so many people have had such nice things to say about him. And just brought a big life to the world. And for that to be gone. And also I would hear stuff that would make me smile. For example, I remember hearing that Judith Hoag, who played April O'Neil in the 1990 Ninja Turtles film, before that she was doing Cadillac Man with Robin Williams. And Robin heard, oh, you're doing this Ninja Turtles thing? And apparently Robin is the one that gave her the comic books. Oh, this is what they are. And I think he named his daughter Zelda. Like, he was in the video games, and it's just like, man. And as a selfish way, I see so many films I wish, like Pixels. Remember that film Pixels with Adam Sandler? I'm like, you know what? Imagine Robin was the star of Pixels. I mean, this is a guy that obviously must like video games. He has, if he's named his daughter Zelda, I believe that's the case. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. Like, imagine if Robin was the star of Pixels. Just that alone, how much better that would be. Granted, it'd be similar to Jumanji, but I mean, Robin would work well in Pixels. I just see other films. I'm like, man, if Robin was in that, or if Robin was in this, just and even watching this film, while I don't like his character, I do like him, and he's giving a good performance. And I don't blame Robin. I blame the script. It's the pacing, the running time in the script, I think, that kind of fails Robin, not so much his performance. Just that's, if you were to tell me, okay, Matt, you tell me, Matt, what are your 10 best performances, Robin? This wouldn't be on there, not because of his performance, but that's the wrong way to put it. What are your 10 favorite characters? Not performances, but what are your 10 favorite characters? This is not one of my favorite Robin characters because of how unlikable or aloof he is for so long. Again, if you did it for 30, 40 minutes, that's good enough. But an hour and 40 minutes? And then when the shackles are off and he's Peter Pan, you see the joy on his face. And I get it, that's the point, is that you're waiting for that moment, but it's just 100 minutes in is just way too fucking long. And by this point, I don't really care about this character. This character, again, so much of it is, he's an unlikable douche, that to go to that level of now we care about him, I didn't follow through on that. Now, again, his performance is good. Dustin Hoffman, I know some people kind of are not big on Dustin Hoffman as Hook. I think he's entertaining. I think Dustin Hoffman does a really nice job and overly dramatic. I think he works very well with Bob Hoskins as Smee. The funniest bit of the movie for me is not even a Robin Williams bit, which is sad. It's a bit with Bob Hoskins and Dustin Hoffman where Dustin Hoffman's like, it's over. I have nothing to live for. Death is the only adventure. And he puts a gun to his head. Don't try to stop me. Okay, Smee, don't try to stop me. Try to stop me. Smee, you better get off your ass and stop me. This is not a joke. Smee, do you see what I'm doing? Do you see that I'm trying to commit suicide? Which is a pretty dark joke for a Peter Pan kids movie, if you think about it. I mean, this is... What is this rated? PG. Think about that. A suicide joke is in a PG film. Only Steven Spielberg get away with that. If there was anybody else, that joke alone would make this PG-13. But, I mean, that's a suicide joke, which is... Well, actually, that's kind of... I didn't think about that. I didn't think about it because Robin, the way he went out, was suicide because he found out he was very sick, and sooner or later he would just literally lose his mind. He didn't want to go through that. So I can't say I blame him if that was the case. See, this is why I didn't watch a lot of Robin's films for a while, because it's hard. But it's also nice to watch to remember him by. But anyway, the go on from that. Sorry about the review, folks. There are times where I just miss the guy a lot. I never met the guy, so I know that's stupid, but yeah, Bob Hoskins and Dustin Hoffman, they work very well together. Like with Bob Hoskins, like, I just had an apostrophe. I think you mean an epiphany. Lightning just struck my brain, and Dustin Hoffman's like, well, that must have hurt. Like, they work very well together, and it's sad that that's the funniest parts of the movie, not Robin, which is sad. The Lost Boys kids, I don't mind Rufio. I like this one, Thud. I forget the actor's name. But there's stuff I see, like, did we need the daughter character singing a song? No. I didn't Hook trying to get the son to like him game. No. I didn't care. Julia Roberts, apparently she was difficult to work with, and she is kind of flat in this. She's kind of bland as Tinkerbell. It's almost like more stunt casting than anything, and I'm not going to say she was awful, but just I didn't give a shit about Tinkerbell. What's weird is that Tinkerbell, she worked better when she didn't talk. I just, the whole idea is that, I mean, again, Julie Roberts isn't bad, but just, I don't know how many people go to this to watch Tinkerbell and Julia Roberts. I don't know. It just, that whole thing where she had the hots for Peter Pan, I guess, so she goes to his size because she's in love with him. I'm like, okay. I just, I don't think that was needed. No, it's, oh, I'm offended. No, I'm not offended. I just, like, is that another thing that we needed? I mean, not really. It just, because nothing really comes of it. No pun intended. And there's some nice imagination, like the food. Robin can't see the food, but if you use your imagination, then the food appears. There are times, I swear, the Peter character forgets that he has a daughter. It's like, you do remember you have a daughter too, right? Because there are times where it seems like it's about the son, the son, the son. It's like, Peter, you have a daughter as well. And then the movie's like, oh shit, that's right. He does have a daughter. So then he goes to rescue his daughter. It's like, thank you, movie, for letting him remember he's got a daughter too. He doesn't just have a son to save. Again, do I hate the film? No. The production values are solid. The score by John Williams is very strong. The performances are decent. Dustin Hoffman and Bob Hoskins are fun together. Again, I like some of the Lost Boys. Not the Corey Feldman and Corey Haim Lost Boys, but the different Lost Boys. You know, the fight scenes, there's some decent choreography of the sword fights. I don't know, the way Hook got it, I thought was always disappointing. The fact that it's a statue of this gator, and I guess the statue ate him? Even though it's a statue that's dead, but I guess somehow it ate him, and I don't know, I don't know how you would take out Hook, but just something about, that's how it is? Okay. Just something about that I went, I'm not saying, oh, take his fucking head off, but I don't know, just something about that. Although, also I thought it was weird that, okay, Hook kills Rufio. And then like a minute later, oh, it stopped. Hook is still alive. I'm going to take my kids home. And I'm like, Pan, this guy killed Rufio. You don't want to, end it here? I mean, the guy killed Rufio, and he's not like he's tied up or captured. He's standing there just fine and dandy, and again, he just killed Rufio. You don't want to end it? I'll take my kids and go home. I just thought that was weird, too. Maybe I'm alone in that. And like I said, 2 hours and 20 minutes is way too fucking long for this movie. You don't need an almost 2.5 hour Peter Pan movie. And the ending, it's schmaltzy, Spielberg wise. So I do have a lot of issues with it, but like I said, and I'm not repeating myself, but despite my issues with the character Robin plays being rather unlikable for too long, taking too long for Peter Pan to enter a Peter Pan movie, hour and 40 minutes, the pacing suffers. I think 20-30 minutes could have been cut out of this. The middle portion is not the most interesting, honestly. The unlikable lead character. I don't care about Hook. I'm going to turn him into my kid. I don't give a shit. But the performances, the production design, the music, the trimmings, the visual aspect, the cast involved. At the very least, it's a time waster for me. But it's that I found my rewatch a lot. I'd rather watch it than the new Peter Pan stuff, like that. I forget what that one came out. I think I reviewed it like 5-10 years ago. I'd rather watch this because I can watch at least this cast work fairly well with each other. I think mainly it's the script story aspects and pacing aspects I have the biggest issues with. That's just me though. I know I'm alone in that. But with that said, thanks for watching. We'll see you guys later. Bye-bye.